Good day. My name is Gia, and welcome to this District Administrator's webinar. In this webinar, I will walk you through pertinent interfaces and operations you have as the District Administrator in Typing Agent. Specifically, this means I will be covering the dashboard and its components, how to upload your schools, staff, classes, and students, the school management, user management, reporting, curriculums and solution center tabs, how to find and log in as any person in your district, as well as find unassigned students. And finally, I will quickly walk you through what your children will see when they use Typing Agent. Now, that's a lot I'm going to cover, so I'm just going to go quickly and note you can always go and review our Solution Center should you have questions. Let's get started. I'm now logging on to this particular account. I know it's my account because it has my name, my school district's name there. Whenever you have a Typing Agent account, your district's name will be there. So please train your teachers and students to always log in to their secure Typing Agent web address, or should you be using Clever or ClassLink, Microsoft or Google, they can use it login via those platforms. But make sure they always see your school's name there. They should not go to typingagent.com, as many times people will try to go here and try to log in here. And that's not really what we want them to do. They may get an error message. So train them always to go to your school secure site. Let me log in. When you log in as the district administrator, you will land on this splash page. If ever I want to get to this page, I click on this Typing Agent button here. Should I want to search for anyone in my district, I can search for students, staff, classrooms, or schools. I can put that in here, or I can use any of these tabs, and the tabs do relate to students, staff, classes, and schools. Should I ever want to log in and become like any student or see exactly what the students see, I use this Demo Student button. So if ever I wanted to see what the K2, 3+, or any of the different curriculums we have in Typing Agent, how they work, I can actually log in and do any of these particular activities. To go back to my splash page, I click on this Return to Admin button, and it takes me exactly back here. At the top where you will have your district's name, or it could be your name, whatever your username is, it will appear here. You will have the My Profile button, so should you ever want to do adjustments to your profile, you can actually go here and do so. This is where you can even give yourself a new password. If you're if you want information about your account, this is where you will find this. You will tell you how many licenses you have, how many student accounts you've created, and how much of your account usage you're using. This will help you with seeing if you need to adjust your numbers of licenses in the future. We tell you when your account will expire. If you're using a rostering system, it'll tell you here if you've uploaded your students with a CSV or Clever, ClassLink, or Google. Always make sure that they match. So if you're using Clever or ClassLink, you will see two numbers. One will be the number, the first one will be the number of schools or whatever you're sharing with Typing Agent, the classrooms, the teachers, and the students. So make sure these numbers always match should you be using one of those interfaces. If they do not match, you contact us at support and let us know, hey, can you please do a manual reset? We will do that for you. Notice, Jane, we have the This is because it's so important that if ever you wanted to test anything, you do so acting as a demo student. Do not use the student's account, because when you use a live student's account, you will be affecting your district or that student's data. By using this demo student button, you will not be negatively affecting any of your data or your data that your students get, that your district will have. In this Solution Center button, this again is where you can find answers to your questions. So this is there, and I will also show you where it is on your splash page. Whenever you want to log out of your typing agent account, you can do so from this interface. I don't want to log out, so I'm going to click on my typing agent splash page again. Let's look at 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at the top here because we want you to pay attention to these first before you do anything down here. So with these first 4 steps, we are putting them in order. This is how we need you to make sure your data is in typing agent well. So you want to upload your schools. So this is how you do it with a CSV file. Notice we tell you exactly what we need to have in the files. If you're creating a school, you use C. If you're updating your existing school, that is, you're an old user of typing agent and you're just updating your school files, then you put a U. If you need to delete a school, that is, a school no longer exists in your district, you will then just put D for that particular school. You can download the sample file, and then, or once you have all of your information in that file, you click to upload and you find your file, you just upload that CSV file and follow these steps. Should you get error messages, on the end here, you will see an error column, and you will see little triangles which will detail what types of error you're getting. So make sure just exactly the same order we give you these columns. Please make sure you have them exactly like that. That will help you not have issues when you upload your files. Going back to my splash page, let's go on 2. If you're uploading your staff, these are the columns that you need to have, and notice you must have the columns in this order. When you're on this, notice that we ask you for your school code. So it's always important to have your school code so that you're placing your schools, your staff in the correct school. Now, this upload your staff button will be very important for those using Clever and ClassLink. Those systems are doing your rostering for you, but should you want to add district administrators or school administrators to your roster, this is how you would do that. You will do them. The role will be S administrator for school administrator, or D admin for district admin. They will be given, by putting them in this file, they will be given those duties within typing agent. And when the nightly updates are done or the syncing is done using your other platforms, they will not be overwritten. So, but whenever you want to add students, they must be done through your Clever or ClassLink protocol. If you were to do it via this means, we will overwrite them. Only your school administrators and district administrators can be added via this means and not be overwritten. So in this case, again, pay attention to the school codes. Now let's go back and look at how to upload your classrooms. Exactly the same way, but notice we ask you for this classroom codes in this particular case, and your school codes. Now, notice the class codes. This is a unique identifier, And you can put in whatever you want, a 6-digit alphanumeric code. So you can go ahead and do that yourself, or we will give it one. If you were to upload your file and not put something there, we will automatically generate that. So when you go on to the next file, you can come back here and see what exactly you've given, what codes have been given for your classrooms. We want to make sure, be able to put our students in the correct classrooms. So pay attention to these codes, and we want to make sure that we have the correct teacher to whom we should assign those students. So make sure, pay attention to these and the signage to create, update, or delete those staff members. Finally, I can click the admin button, that breadcrumb, or I can click my typing agent button to go back to this page, to my splash page, and now I can look at uploading my students. And as before, we do that with a separate CSV file. You have to put in your school code, the class code, the username, first name, last name, password, grade, action, tags 1 or 2. Notice these are optional. So you may not put anything in those, but you can leave, but these areas must stay there. That is, the columns have to be there. You can create, update, or delete students. Notice that if you're putting in kindergarten students, you need an integer. So you put the 0, put a 0 if you're dealing with kindergarten students. First, second, third grade, or whatever the student, whatever grade the student is in, make sure you put the correct grade there, because that's the curriculum we will serve up to those particular students. I think it's important that I mention that, because there are some people who don't know about CSV files. Essentially, it's just a spreadsheet. Many people know about Excel spreadsheets. You can do this in Excel spreadsheets, but instead of saving as an XLSX or SLX file, you look down and you save your document as a CSV file. That way, that's the only way we will be able to properly upload your data into Typing Agent. Now, CSV files are finicky. If you have accents or spaces in your document, it will come up as an error message. So if ever you see an error message, please make sure you don't have any spaces in front of your students or anywhere there, or make sure you don't have any accents or on your students' names. Error messages will show up. So make sure once you've done all of these steps, you will have uploaded your schools, your staff, your classrooms, and your students within Typing Agent. Once they're all in there, then we can move on to the school management tab. This is how you're going to take care of everything at the district level. Notice once you've uploaded your schools, all of them will appear here. And if you've missed any, you can actually go in and add a single school with this file, or you can upload your CSV file from this area. And if you were to click that, you go on to that exact same page we had at School 1. So we're just making sure you know how to do it. If you were to click on that school management tab before you did any uploads, you will come to a blank page. So you may choose to just add your schools manually one at a time. It's up to you. For those of you who are coming back to Typing Agent and have archived your data, you will see the date on which you did that. You did that archiving. We ask that you archive at the end of the school year or just before your students start the next school year. By archiving and deleting your students' progress, you are giving them a whole new slate on which they begin. And then they do, for students in grades 3 and higher, we give them a placement test. Based on how well they've done on their placement test, we will put them on paths A to E, and that will tell you, you can look at a glance to see that your children will receive appropriate instruction to match where they are when they did their placement test. So it's important that you do this archiving. It will help you in the long run. If I were to click on any of these, I can see my classrooms, my staff, my students. I can do my New Year's reset, clear the roster, edit your school, or delete schools. Now for Clever and ClassLink people, you may not see all of these because your rostering system does this for you. So don't be surprised if you don't have all of these options because you have an outside source doing that for you. This is where you will do your New Year's reset. For those beginning the new school year, make sure that these have been done. Make sure that in particular, we actually even have a document in our Solution Center that details exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it, and click this update button and we will do those for you. To find that Solution Center file, you can always go here and click. You can do district because you're a district person and just put reset. And I look for this and notice resetting students for the new school year for the district administrator. Notice that appears immediately. I can go and look at this file and see, we walk you through how to do that. Please take the time to do it as it's uber important. Okay, let's now move on to the classrooms. When you created your classrooms file, notice all the classrooms are there with the codes next to them. You can always go here and manually add a classroom if you found you've forgotten it, or upload them via a CSV file. Should I click on this particular class, again, I can see the staff, students, clear that roster, and by clearing the roster, it's going to delete everyone from that class. I can edit the classroom. If I found that I gave that classroom the wrong name, I can actually go in and edit that, or I can delete that classroom in particular. I can do this multiply or just one classroom. Again, with Clever and ClassLink people, you may not have those options because your rostering system does that for you. With Clever and ClassLink, it's important to note that sometimes you have these really elaborate long names. Well, in this classroom, the teachers can go in and put a nickname next to their classroom, so it'll help them see a classroom and know exactly which class they're being given. As the district administrator, that's not really what you worry about. You just want to make sure that your classrooms and your teachers and students are uploaded. The teachers can do those manual things themselves. It's important that you pay attention to the time settings. You can change your time settings to match. If you're on the Eastern time zone, click Eastern Central Time, whichever makes sense for you. It's important that you set this because this is where our reports will be pulling this trigger. They're going to be using this area to say whether kids are working off school time or during school time. Whenever you want to see our kids doing homework, this is what's going to manage this. Your time too, you need to make sure that you make this make sense for your district, your school year, because different schools start at different times. You set your school's initial start date and your end date, and that's going to be pulling that data. So if we're in 2020 and my school's going to start, say, August 31st, I want to make sure that that's there. I want to put my end date to, say, July 2021. I can then put that there and then save it. If I don't save it, then it's not going to work. It's not going to save. And make sure that you update this to the 2021 school year so that Any data now we capture will all be linked to that current school year. I'm not going to do that now because I'm using this for demonstration purposes. But once you've set that, don't forget to save. Permissions. There are districts that want teachers and administrators to do certain things. So in terms of curriculum, if you want your teachers to and school admins to add, remove apps for students, this is there. If you only want to do that at the district admin level, you can do that here, and only district admins will be able to do this. If you want it in terms of all of these different things, to add, edit, delete, and move students, this will be taken care of here. And all of these tool tips will tell you exactly what you're dealing with. So you can limit or just give certain privileges to certain people, and only they will be able to do certain things. And then you click the save button. With grade settings, typing agent has these 5 different areas. This is how you will manage things for these particular groupings. For K2s, 3rd grade and 3rd grade, between the beginners, or some people treat their 3rd graders as really mature. So we're not deciding to do anything for you. You can decide what you want. The 4th and 5th graders, they tend to be a bit more advanced than these kids. So they have their own working environment, 6 through 8s and 9 through 12s. This is how you can handle these. So I'm going to go say with the 4th and 5th grade students, I want to make sure that they have the Keyboarding Foundations 3+ curriculum. So I'm going to make sure that they're assigned all of these different curriculums. What typing agent has done too is we've set experience points to open up specific curriculums for your students. So you may have them all typed. Now, if you or selected, I'm going to take off Spanish because I don't want all of my kids having access to the Spanish curriculum. So I'm going to take that off. And whenever any of my students have done enough of the curriculum, enough of the Keyboarding Foundations core curriculum, the program will open those curriculums up for them. We are now even setting games as a part of the curriculum. Typing agent uses gamified learning, and by that I mean our instruction uses lots of games already. So you don't have to have your kids using games right away. So as they go through the program, they have to earn a certain amount of experience points to access the games. You can modify those yourself to meet your needs. If you want them to have access to the games immediately, you can set this to 0. I suggest you leave them as what we suggest, because we want the students to have completed enough of the curriculum where they can start playing these games. For and how experience points work is they have, as they earn the stars in their curriculum, we give them 10 experience points. And so every time they successfully complete a lesson with 1 or more stars, they earn 10 points. 3 stars will earn them 30 points. And if they were to ever repeat a lesson, we only give them 1 experience point. By the time they've earned this number of experience points, it will open the game arcade for them. Now, some students, for example, your 9 through 12 students, well, they should already be master typers. So you may want them to have access to the games already. So you can use the grit coins as well. And with grit coins, that means they have to, as each time they successfully complete a lesson, they earn 5 grit coins. And if they were to repeat a lesson, they will earn 0 grit coins. And in this case, we're saying 2 stars. They successfully complete a lesson by earning 2 stars. And once they've earned a certain number of grit coins, this will then open up the games arcade for them. So you can manage your games in one of 2 ways. You can put them with grit coins or with experience points, or both. The grit coins are also used to change the students' avatars. So if you don't want them playing the games because you're going to have the experience points managing that, that's fine. They can still use their grit coins to improve their avatars or change their workspaces. It's to help them customize their workspace. And usually when students are able to do that, they want to use their environments more. Skip the placement test. Any online program should be flexible. We give you the option of having your students skip the placement test. And remember, the placement test is only there for students in grades 3 and above. If they're in K and 2, we have them start at the bottom of the mountain because they're going to, each year they go up, they have to work towards higher accuracy and speed goals. So we start them at the beginning and then they work to climb 3 mountains. When your students are in grades 3 and above, we have them do their placement tests, and remember, we place them on an appropriate path of learning. So once you set that up, then you don't have to worry. Now we have this here for districts. If you're an iPad or any sort of tablet user, we do have the K through 2 students beginning with mouse exercises. Well, since those tablets do not have mice, then you can actually skip that or enable it. So if you want, we have it automatically enabled, but if you want them to skip it, you can just uncheck it, and that means they will skip everything. If you do not want your students to use experience points, then you can bypass that. Again, it's up to you to do it, but we don't authorize it, but we don't recommend it, but you can do whatever you like because you know your students better. And should you ever want to maximize a certain number of characters for a particular grade level, you can do that too. Again, we don't recommend it because we're adjusting the character count for your students based on their learning paths and how well they've done on their placement test and their grade levels. Once you've done any changes in any of these grade levels, be sure to click that save button. In Gradebook, we have what we've suggested, but you can always go in and change for any grade level. For example, for a student in grade 5, to get an A+, we're expecting them to type it at 95% accuracy at 30 words a minute. We put A+, but you can always change this to whatever you want. For example, if I wanted to look at the kindergarten classrooms, you can go in and change these to emoticons if you wish. You can put satisfactory, pass, fail, whatever your grading system is, you can go ahead and do that. We've already made some adjustments here. Make sure you fill in all these files and then click save. If you click save and you don't like what you've done, you can always click restore default values, and we will put our grading system back in here for you. But just letting you know that you can modify anything within Typing Agent. Target settings. This is the meat and potatoes of our program. So let's look at, say, our grade 4 settings. Typing Agent, how we do our grading system is we want students to type 5 words per minute per grade level. So with a grade 4 student, for our students to meet or work at current grade level expectations, we want them to be 5 times 4, 20 words per minute at 85% accuracy. If it were grade 8, then 8 5s of 40 words per minute at 85% accuracy. Say grade 2, Grade 2 will be 5 twos, 10 words per minute at 85% accuracy. Everything, our reports are based on this 2-star range. So should this be difficult for you or your student, you can always go in and modify this in particular and say, change it to what makes sense for you. We suggest you don't make these lower. If anything, these should be going higher. You can change it 80, but again, we put those there for you. And so all of your tests, all of your final assessments will be based on this. But common sense will tell you if you adjust these, then you should also adjust these. So you can move these up or down, whatever makes sense for you. You can go ahead and do what is the 1-star rating, what is the 3-star rating. Go ahead, make it make sense, and then save it. Notice our default, our proficiency requirements are always, always, always the 2-star settings and no max retries. I know many districts have gone in and changed these for some reason to 4 max retries. Oftentimes what students do is they will just go ahead and mess up 4 times and then move on to the next lesson because they're tired of trying. Keyboarding is a difficult skill. We know that. We do not want students, if they cannot handle 2 keys, to go on and move on to 4 keys. It means that it's going to become even more difficult for them. So we suggest you keep them working at their grade level targets and no max retries. Have them keep practicing until they're able to meet that grade level goal to move on to the next exercise. Your teachers, in your permissions slip or in that permissions tab, if you permitted teachers to go ahead and make adjustments, if your teachers have found out that there's one particular kid, this is really difficult for that child, your teacher can go in and make accommodations for that particular child. That teacher can operate with knowledge. They can see where the student is having that difficulty and then accommodate for your special needs kid, be it that the child needs to be challenged more or if the goals or these targets need to be lessened. Right here, as the district administrator, you're just setting the path for all of the students. You're setting the path for the norm. So these are there. As the district administrator in the grade level schedule tests, you may want to create baseline tests for your kids. You may want to create your own. And by doing that, you can set it for different grades. You may want to give them a test at the beginning of the school year and at the end of the school year. You can create your own and you can write it, your test in here, however you want it, and save it. Or you can use any of ours that we have here. For example, I can use this basic sentence test, and I can set that I want my kids to receive this test on a specific date, and I can have that run to a specific time. I can decide if I want my students to do this test 1, 2, or 3 minutes. That's the length of the test, and how many times I want them to do it. Typically, I suggest having the kids do it once so that they pay attention the first time around. If you set it to 3 times, then the student will have access to doing it 3 times, but it is within that same sitting. So what will happen is this test will be served up as soon as the kids log into their typing agent account. This test will show up. They have to do it. As soon as they're finished, we give them a grade. We say, hey, do you want to do this or are you satisfied with this? If they say they're satisfied, we ask, do you want to redo it? They say no, then boom, the test is done. They cannot access this test again. If they've said, yes, they want to redo it, then we will go and redo it. And they get to redo it up to 3 times. And for typing agent, accuracy is more important than speed. So we will take the grades based on their accuracy, the highest accuracy result they've achieved with their words per minute, and we will give you that grade for your students. When you get here and you see you have designed this for all of your schools or all of your students to do, you can use this particular report here to see how many schools have done the report. You can see if you can use this button to hide and show only the schools that have done the report. You can actually click on the eye to see how many students did not do that test, and we will tell you the names of the students who did not do the test and the school they are in. You can then get in contact with the administrator and say, hey, what's happening at your school? How come your students are not doing my tests? Please let them do it. So this is how you can manage who is doing what with your tests and see exactly who has not done your tests and get on them to do it. In terms of your district portal, this is where you can manage putting, if your district has a logo, you can put your district logo there. You can change the background color or your portal text colors. If you're logging in with Google, Clever, ClassLink, whatever you're using, this is where you will manage that. If you're allowing your teachers and students to sign up, you can have them do it here. Note again, if you're using Clever and ClassLink, these will not be available for you because your rostering system will do that for you. Again, teachers are rostered within your files. The admins are not, so you can have your admins log in via whatever means they have. So I've walked you through the school management phase. I'm going to skip this because I'm going to show you that near the end. The reporting section. Whenever you log into the reporting section, this here you will see this graph. This gives you an overview of what your kids have done for the month. You can click on any of these. For example, I'll click on this and you will get more information on what grades are using the program. And I click here and what schools are using the program. Now that we're in kind of a weird month, you're not going to see much action because, and this is my test account, I don't use it very often. Your account will look very different from this because your students will be using the program a lot. So you'll be able to log on and see specifics. Notice we have the legend here that tells you how many lessons, student sessions, and minutes practice that your students have done. But this isn't the core of this. You can actually click down here, and here you can see the plethora of our reports available to district admins. When you archive your data, and you can use it when you archive your data, and we ask you to do it just once a year, you can go back here and you can see what you will find under this particular report. You can select schools with the reports. I should tell you, you can pull all pertinent school reports by all, and most of the reports you can customize your dates, or if they aren't allowed to be customizable, then they're just related to specific dates. You can choose the dates you want to run our reports by. The custom class reports, these here will tell you, and you can see in green again what information you will get from this report. The custom school report, again, you can get specific information in that report. One of our most used reports will be this custom student report. When you want to see exactly what your students in your district are doing, this is the report that can help you. Or if you wanted to see what schools are done, that report can help you. The diagnostic test report, as kids go through, this is Typing Agent's way of showing improvement over time. This is our baseline test. We test where kids have done at the beginning, the moment they start typing agent. All students, even kindergarten students, will have to take this placement test. And with the kindergarten students, we've modified this test a bit where they get one letter at a time. If they mess up 5 times, then we just start them. We automatically start them with the first lesson. If your kids, say in grade 2, already know how to type certain letters, they keep typing and until they make 5 errors or they complete their 1-minute placement test. Their 1-minute diagnostic test. As they do diagnostic tests 2, 3, and 4 in the K2 environment, the 3+ environment, they have 28 diagnostic tests. So as they go through the program, every time they complete a world or at different intervals, we give them the placement, that diagnostic test, so that you can see that, hey, my children are improving, or no, they're not improving, but they should be improving if they're practicing consistently. And remember, typing agent asks that they practice 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and they're achieving their 2-star goals. And by 2 stars, it's what we've set. And when they do that, then we know that students are working towards goals that typically are norms for their grade levels. So your diagnostic test will show that. Your detailed school usage, that test, these reports are here. Your district activity, this is important, particularly if you have your permission set where your teachers or administrators can do changes. By looking at this, you can see who did exactly what. So if they've made changes to, say, set your students at 0 words per minute, at 0 accuracy, you can see who did that and have a chat with that teacher. That's not sound or smart practice. So you can say, why'd you do it? Let's go back and change that. Or if you see that a teacher has made your goals harder for their students, well, yay, that means that their students are doing really well. They're really exceeding your expectations. So you can celebrate that teacher and what has happened. Whenever students have finished typing agent, we give them a final evaluation. And this report tells you exactly what students have passed. And again, it's at our 2-star goals. So you can find out which schools, which students, which classrooms have actually done that. The grade usage gives you all of this information for specific grades, your grade level schedule tests. Remember when you created your schedule test in admins, in that school management section, and you got to see which students did not do the test? Well, this test here tells you which students did the test and how well they did. You can click on this. You can see how schools have done. You can get an eyeball. Let me click on that for a second. I can run my reports. I can see how well my students have done. I can view, it shows me this graph for my test. I can look at specifically which tests I've done. I can click on my eyeball and compare what schools have done one against the other. And then you can click on the eyeball for a school to see exactly what has happened for specific students within that report itself. So these reports are there for you to use. That's one that's really often used by district admins. Then in your monthly usage, if you want to see which schools are using the program every month, month by month, this report is there. Your teachers, are they getting in the program? Are they managing their students? We often want the students how to type, and just watch to make sure that their students are doing well. We really want them to go and look at their students' progress reports and then make formative when students have done any sort of assessments, to view what the students have done and make adjustments for them. Well, you can actually see if your teachers are logging in. And finally, this upload history report, this is there as well. So if you want to see if you've uploaded your students or teachers or anything with CSV files, you can actually go in and see those CSV files. You can see, did I actually upload a student? What was that student's username and password? You can actually find that in your upload history. Now, I know that's a lot. So again, if ever you needed to find anything, you can go to the Solution Center here, or you can go here to district. You can put up the name of your report, and we will give you specifically the name of a report and show you exactly what type of information you get from that report. Finally, I'll click on my curriculums. The keyboarding core curriculum, this is where Typing Agent does its keyboarding instruction. The K2 curriculum has 106 lessons. The 3 Plus has 283 core lessons. Now, you may think, oh, well, that's all we have. No, it's not. Typing Agent has these other curriculums. Again, these will open up as the students go through their lessons and earn experience points. So targeted practice will give them examples, find the keys, the keystrokes they have particular problems with. We will go in and we will show them or give them words to help them practice that keystroke. With Type Your Own Adventure, this one will take them on different paths. They type where they'd like their story to go. It's an excellent addition to reading. So they type and they read what comes on there, and they will take themselves on their own adventures. But again, it's practicing their keyboarding skills. For word processing, this tab is there. So you can even have your kindergarten kids who are using invented spellings. This can open up for them too, where they can write stories where they see that, hey, it's important for me to do my keyboarding skills. It's important for me to learn how to keyboard and keyboard well, because this is where I can write stories, or I can do my weekly journal. What did I do? Or when we're at home, because we're doing a lot of distance learning now, you can have your kids write about what happened to them in their keyboarding instruction. How well did they use Typing Agent this week or for the month? They can do a report in Typing Agent. They can use this for that. For students who are doing Spanish, well, you can assign the Spanish curriculum and they can actually do all of the curriculum in Spanish. So that's Agent Challenge lesson. A lot of times assign this to your students immediately. That is wrong. Do not permit them to do it. Agent Challenge lessons are exactly that. They challenge students. The students in their keyboarding lessons, they are working towards 2-star goals, their grade level targets. So every Agent Challenge lesson is going to push them beyond what they had to achieve in their 2-star goals. So for example, we had shown that 4th grade is working at 20 words per minute at 85% accuracy. So one of the Agent Challenge lessons, and notice any of these with a folder next to them, you can actually click on them and see what is it that the lessons do. So this here with Agent Accuracy, we're going to tell them to work, if they had to work at 90% accuracy, we're going to push them to 90, 91%, 92%, 93%. So can you imagine how frustrated your students would be if they're only learning how to type at 85% accuracy, and now you're telling them they have to type at 90% accuracy, and they don't even have the 80% under control or 85% under control? Or if they're working at 25 per minute, we're now telling them they have to type at 30 words per minute? That's not fair. So we open Agent Challenge lessons for students only after they've completed this, the keyboarding core curriculum. So they're there. Again, these say the coding lessons, these are ways that kids get to practice their keyboarding skills, while of course learning a whole new skill that is really a viable skill that kids learn to create HTML codes, or they're creating a game. So in this basic code lesson, by the time they've done this, and we're just getting them to type what we are showing them, so they're practicing those keystrokes that developers or programmers use. By the time they're done and just modeled or typed what we showed them to type, they would have completed a Flappy Bird game that now goes in their console. And this advanced coding, where I think it's Python and HTML that those coding languages that we use. So we're going to ask them to recall certain keystrokes that are needed to make their ship do or execute a certain movement. So if they have not learned that yet, we'll show them. They'll have to recall it, and then they'll have to apply what they've learned. So this is why this is called advanced coding. But the key thing here is it's not a drag and drop coding program. We're asking them that activity where they're to do certain maneuvers. So these are where we get, and we open them up again when students have earned a certain number of experience points. Trust that we are doing that so at appropriate moments, so that your students can then start to learn this. This one will open up pretty much after the kids are doing Agent Challenge, because it's a challenging activity where we're asking them to use different sorts of strokes. The digital citizenship, we've left that up to you. It can be open immediately at 0 experience points, or you can assign different experience points to them, or assign it to them immediately. This here is just teaching your kids how to use typing agent well. I'm going to click on this folder in the in the 3+ environment. And remember, we said kids are placed on a certain path. I want you to pay attention to these different icons. These icons mean different things. And whenever students are in typing agent, they will see these different icons. This is wherever formative assessments are done. Whenever we start to say we're going to grade it, whatever work the kids do, this is where grading is done. So if students are placed, they do their placement test and they're on path A, and let's say in grade 3, if they're on path A, they're in this World 1, Lesson 1. All of these, this one means that this is where instruction is given. This is where a video is given. Star Destroyer has kids practicing only the keystrokes that they're learning at this particular moment. Then we give them a game where they're practicing the keystrokes they're learning or the letters they're learning. And this is where we evaluate them. So say, for instance, in this grade 3, a child is on path A, and path A typically means that the child needs help with home row. This is what that lesson will look like. Whereas a child who is tested and say placed on path D in the same particular lesson, this is what this particular student's lesson will look like. At path D, this is telling us that, hey, these kids know all of the letters of the keyboard, and so we can start giving them letters, words, and sentences. So that's how this particular area would look. Whenever your kids go into a program and they see this this lesson here, this means it's a type of lesson. So as they're learning their keystrokes, if there's a key they have trouble with, just in time we'll give them a lesson where they get to practice in a gamified environment those keystrokes. So again, the games arcade doesn't need to be open because we're already giving them all of these different games to practice. Again, whenever they see the keyboard on their icon, they can go ahead and do this. Notice this here, whenever they see this, with the finger pointing left, this means that it's an anchor F lesson where they're going to have to hold the F key down on the home row and type with the right hand only. And conversely, if they have an anchor right, they have to hold down the J key and type with the left fingers only. It's important to note with the K through 2, the K students, and I can click on that breadcrumb to go here. With the K2 environment, we're modeling for students the proper correct and the correct technique they need to use when typing. But with the little ones, we're focusing familiarization with the keyboard, how to use more than one finger instead of hunting all over the place and clicking all over the place with one finger. No, we want them to know that the left and right hands, each hand has its own duties, and I'm going to be happy if I have my grade 2 students using at least 3 fingers on that right hand and 3 fingers on the left hand to type their particular lessons. We have all of them, they go on their little adventures to help the Yeti or Professor Quirtius or Igor do certain things. They have their lessons to do as they go into Typing Agent. So again, if ever you wanted to note specific things, just go into the Solution Center, type in district, and then your search words, your search keywords, and we'll pull up things for you. I'm now going to click on this user management because this will help us segue into the next area. Under user management, notice it'll tell you immediately how many users you have in this, that is students, teachers, administrators. For district administrators using Clever and ClassLink, this will not be here because again, you will be uploading your teachers and administrators through Clever or ClassLink. But you can upload staff members, and staff members will be limited to your school admins or other district admins. You can upload them through this means by clicking on here, and you can import staff only. You can import them or add them individually, and by adding them individually, you can say these are the only 2 you will have available for you, school admin or district admin, as a Clever or ClassLink person, but all teachers and students will have to be uploaded through your rostering system. I go up here, I can see how many licenses I have, how many assigned I have, and how many unassigned people I have. It's important to note this, and we will tell you this graph just basically is a pictorial version of what this has here. If you want to move all your students to unassigned, then you can do that by clicking that. And this way, if they all go to unassigned, you can then move them into their classrooms. If you wanted to export all of your students and teachers in a CSV file, you can do that here. But key thing for me is this funnel here. We're on all, but if you wanted to see only the district administrators in your school, you click this and notice that there are no other district administrators but me, so that's cool. But if you have assigned other people to district administrators, they will appear here. For school administrators, they will appear here. So if you have Clever and ClassLink people and you've assigned them school admin duties, they will be appearing here. And people logging in with Typing Agent secure web address, if you're logging in through your secure web address, you will see all of those to whom you've assigned those duties. If you wanted to see who your teachers are, you can see that. You can see if you want to see all of your students within your district, they're there, and then all of your unassigned students. So this will tell you, hey, you've uploaded students in your district, but they're not in a classroom. So if you have a teacher complaining that the student isn't in their classroom, they're not seeing them, Well, check here first. Check to make sure they're not in this unassigned students area, and then you can go ahead and move them from wherever you want them to go, edit users, put them there, put them in the correct class, school and classroom. And then just click these updates, move whatever you need to do that for that particular student or teacher or whatever. This is where you can do this. Now, I saved this for the last because I wanted to show you how you can log in as a administrator, a school administrator. So note that you have access to everything within Typing Agent. This is why you need to be careful to whom you give district administrator and school administrator privileges. If you give someone district administrative privileges, they will have access to all of the information within the district, but only you as the district administrator can do certain things. You're in charge of the account, so you'll be getting the billing. When resetting it has to be done, we're going to be notifying you. But you may have other district admins in your account to help you out with that. So I'm going to click on now as the school administrator. This school administrator will only be privy to the information related to that particular school. So that district administrator, just like how you saw this graph, a graph that pertained to your whole district when you clicked on report, well, this district administrator will see the graphs associated with that. The school administrator will see the information associated to his or her particular school. So just how you were able to click on boxes and see exactly what's going on for that school, they're able to do something too. They will be able to click down and see data for specific years if they had archived their data. The school administrator, just how you were able to see and do things for the school, if you've given them permission to do certain actions, they will be able to do so as well. They can get class and school reports associated with their school only. As the school admin, again, anything here, they can do it with their school only. And they can see, again, just with their school only. If this district administrator, this school administrator was the administrator for different schools, they'll be able to switch from one school to the next by clicking the switch school button. And if they had assigned specific work for their kids to do, they can click on that calendar and go ahead has been assigned and who has done it when they did it. Now, under administrator, I'll click on my dashboard. So just how to, or Typing Agent, you had your splash page. District admins have their school admins have their splash pages as well. You can click on this. For some reason, I'm timing out. So this sometimes happens. So what I will do is I need to log out and I go back to my splash page. I'm going to go back as user management, click that I want to go on as school admins. I had logged on as this particular admin, and I'm back to this page. So welcome to technology, but just in time you may find, and if we're uber busy on a particular day, things may be a bit slow. So just like I did, don't freak out. Just go ahead, click the return to admin button, this button here. It'll take you back to your splash page, or you can log out and log back in. Anyway, it will get the job done. So this is, as a district admin, you can see again exactly what each school sees. And then if you were to click on any of these buttons here, you can see exactly what the teacher sees. So they can see whoever's gone in there, what they've done. You can even log in as a particular student, and I'm going to do that for you right now. Let's see, I want to go in as a grade 4 student. Oh, before I even do that, all of the settings that you had for your teachers or school admins, notice they're all there. Same things that you had, they're there for your administrators and teachers with accessibility options. If you had a student who had the school admins and teachers can make adjustments for special needs kids. If there's a student who has really bad dyslexic issues, they can go ahead and make adjustments for that. Changing the font size. If there's a whole classroom that has issues, you can see all of these students will be affected by these classroom adjustments. If you only needed something done for a particular student, you can click on that student's name, click on accommodations, and notice you can make adjustments. If you only have a left-handed typist or right-handed typist, you can do that. With digital citizenship, if they wanted to open or close specific things, notice like certain things are open, but if you didn't want the students to access them, you can go ahead and close them. But generally, all of these are here, but Clever and ClassLink people, you won't have all of these options because you won't be able to edit your students or print logins, because these are things that are that your enrollment systems will be doing for you. With the experience points, notice we tell you how many experience points are needed. You can adjust these. The school administrator can change them, or the teacher can change them, because you remember in the permissions area, you gave them permission to do so. So that's how you would make specific accommodations for your students. But in target settings, notice your district's target settings are there. But your teachers, if you've given them permission to do so, they can do so. And just like how we made modifications here, they can go in and do so here if you've given them permission to do so. Once they've done so, they can change. And notice that they can always click here and see what the default settings are for that you've set for the district. So they can go in and see what they are. But notice it will not overwrite anything here. They can just see what they are, and then they can make adjustments here if they want to. The lesson settings, the game settings, these are all there. Note that the school administrator may create their own schedule tests. They don't need to rely on you. You can create your own, or they can add their own schedule tests for their own schools. So you can actually log in and see, same thing by clicking on these, what is going on for that school and for students in particular. We've given you that option because you are the district administrator. You should be knowledgeable of what's going on in your district. The activity log, again, remember where I told you, you can see what teacher has done what for your in your district. Well, the school administrator can see exactly who was done what and when they did it for students within their schools. So for school admins, it's a great way of seeing whether or not the students are doing any work. If you've set any work for your kids to do, or kids have worked in the notepad area where they're writing, this is where you can see what the students have done. You can evaluate if they've done it and whether they've submitted to you for evaluation. And in the school admin area, or the teachers should send help. So just like you were able to get help, your teachers may want to be asking you, well, this is, how can I get solutions? Well, they'll get something similar, and all they'll do is in this area, instead of saying district, they will say school admin, and say if they wrote reports, as a teacher or student, or the school administrator, you're able to now log in as a teacher, sorry, as a student. I can log in and I see that this particular student has all of these things. This is where the student sees if the assignments have been done, how many experience points they've earned, how many grit coins they've earned, how many badges, and this is where they will update their avatar, change their interface. I should mention for Chromebook users or any computer that has smaller interfaces, if they're telling you they can't see their keyboard, just tell them to have their students go in and minimize the screen. What happens, you'll see immediately this area, this bar that tells them where they are and how much game time, typing time, their streaks. All of this information is automatically minimized, but notice if I were to hover over it, it comes back in. This will push everything up so the students will be able to see what's on the bottom of their screen. I'm going to put it back there so that stays there for me. From this, anything that's green, it shows me what the students have open to them as so far. Notice if you hover over anything that's locked, it's telling the students how many experience points they need to open them up. Notice here, it tells you how many experience points the students have earned. So if this one here, the basic code opens after 6,500 points have been earned. So this is why this is locked. All of these green ones are opened. I've opened both of these because this is my demo account that I use to show people how to use the program. But if students were in one grade level, they really only should be seeing one. If they're in grades 3 or above, they should only be seeing this curriculum. And if they're in kindergarten or grade 2, they should be seeing this. If your teachers have told you, hey, my kids have completed Typing Agent, what do I do? Well, make sure that they've not only just completed the core curriculum, that they've also completed all of these opened areas, because there are additional spaces for them to practice. Do not promote them to the next grade level, because at that grade level, you're going to be asking them to type at another speed. Save that for the next grade level, not for this grade level. So make sure if they've done all of those, you can go in and adjust their targets so that they have additional work to do. There's no need to promote students to the next grade level until they're in that grade level. So if they're in grade 4, no need to promote them to grade 5 until they're in grade 5, so that we will be sending them grade 5 specific work. But all of these things here that is there for them to do will be related to their particular grade levels. Students can always go in and click on their own progress report. So when they're home, they can always go and see how they've done in comparison to themselves, their classrooms, their grade, and themselves. This here, if they've done any work, they can see what their weekly activity has been or what they've been doing in each of these curriculums that are open for them. One last thing that I want to show you is this area here. They can click on that. They can click on all days, and they can have your students and teach your students to go through those lessons. Click on any of these where they have not achieved 2 or more stars, and they can actually click on a particular activity and start doing those lessons. Notice here that all of these are graded lessons, so they can actually go ahead and do that. If students wanted to get back to this page, they always click that phone home button. Or notice where I was telling you all the diagnostic tests. They can land on any of these things, and they can see what diagnostic tests have been done and what grades they've earned. Sometimes, sometimes, a lot of times we get questions about what do these stars mean. So an example, in this World 9, and in grades 3 and above, we use worlds. That's their adventure. So in World 9, this student can earn 30 stars. That is, if they get 3 stars for every lesson, they can earn 30 stars. So right now, this motivates them to not just earn 2 stars, try and earn 3 stars. And remember, the stars are related to experience points. When they get experience points, it opens up new curriculums for them. So always try to encourage your kids to try to gain 2 stars, but even try to work beyond grade levels. So they should always be trying to get 15 out of 15 out of 30 stars. And if they were to do that, then we will open up the next adventure for them if they had completed all of the activities. If I were to click on this lesson 20, notice the student, all of these dark blue ones, it means that the student has completed them. This one here, the student has not done this particular lesson here. And then these are locked because they have not done these lessons here. Typing agent will not open up any particular lesson for your students to do until they've earned at least 2 stars. If your teachers have gone in and modified it so that they can only earn one, that they can move on with 1 star, then they'll see 1 star here. That is not typing agent's practice. Our practice is make sure they earn 2 stars in order to move on. Before I end, I just wanted to show you this chat box. Should you or any of your teachers have questions or administrators have questions, they can go in here, put in their search words, just like how I showed you before in the Solution Center, put teacher if they're a teacher and put reports if they wanted to look for reports, and search. We will give them articles they can look at. We're teaching them how to fish. We will give them the answers 9 times out of 10. This search bar will give you the answer. If you wanted to send us a message, any of us, you can click this send us a message and you can write your message here. If you're having a particular issue, you can put a screenshot, take a screenshot of it and attach that file and send it to us. We will answer your questions. So we try to do it just in time, but around August, September, October is really, really a busy time for us in support. So we try to get to your answers within 2 hours, but at that time, because we are getting questions from all over the place, we suggest that you really try to search for your answers in the articles and then be patient with us. If you were to send us a message, give us time to get through with you, get through to you to answer your questions. We really will answer them in a timely manner. Or if none of those things happen, well, this is our, you can contact us via that in-app chat as I just showed you. You can always go to write to support@typingagent.com, and support is SUPPORT @typingagent.com. Or note, we have lots of videos, just like this video that I'm using. You can always go to our YouTube channel at https://www.youtube.com/user.typingagent. Put in that information and go in and you will see all of our help videos. Again, they are there to help you use Typing Agent well. So thanks for listening. I hope you're a bit more comfortable with Typing Agent. You should now know how to use your dashboard, how to upload your school staff, classrooms, and students, how to use that school management, user management, reporting, curriculums, the Solution Center tabs, how you can find and log in as anyone in your district, actually, even the students within your district. And ultimately, the best way to know Typing Agent is getting in there, using it, logging on as a student, trying it, not even logging on as a student, but using that demo student button to really see how the student interface works. Then you can log in as the teacher and student to see how that works as well. This is the best way you can give help to your teachers, to your school administrators. They rely on you. And if ever they can't or you don't know the answer, then have them contact us. We are definitely here to help. So that's all for now. Thank you so much and happy using Typing Agent. Bye-bye.